All right. So we're going to do roadblocks. So basically, how to uncover, remove everything standing between a motivated seller and a signed contract. So what exactly are roadblocks? So roadblocks are anything that would prevent a motivated seller from taking action. And your job during the script and during your conversations is to surface them before the offer, not after. So quick notes, like they're always there. Every seller has at least one. Most have two or three. If you don't find them, they'll kill the deal after the offer, and you'll be surprised when they say, I need to talk to this person or that person. We should know all these things ahead of time. So next, surface them early. You want to find roadblocks during the process call, not on the offer call. If you wait until the offer, it's too late to really handle them cleanly. Sellers won't volunteer them. They're not going to bring up their spouse who disagrees. They're not going to bring up their attorney who they want to call, or the number that they're fixated on. You have to ask, and when you build rapport throughout the call, roadblocks will come up throughout the entire conversation. So you need to listen for them as well. Your job is to help solve them or help them solve it. So you're not pushing through objections. You're helping the seller figure out how to move forward and reframe. So reframe your mindset around that. So next we have what are roadblocks, right? The four roadblocks. Every deal that stalls comes back to one of these four things. We want to know them always. So we have influencers. So this is someone in the seller's life who has sway over their decision, whether that's a spouse, a family member, their attorney, a CPA, their cousin Vinny, a friend. So the way we ask this is, and this is in the script, and this is exactly how you want to ask it. Hey, would anyone be even a tiny bit upset that you didn't speak with them first before deciding to sell the property? So the way we ask that is if anyone would be upset, not if they need to talk to anyone, not, uh, you know, uh, let's see, would anyone be upset if you didn't run this by them first before deciding to sell the property? Uh, there's a specific reason we ask it in that way because we want to bring to the front anyone that's going to have an opinion. And then we'll ask this multiple times, which will be on the next slide. Next, we have discomfort. So basically, this is any fear, anxiety, or uncertainty about the process. What happens next, where they'll go, what signing means, what they need to do with items in the house. So how we ask this, hey, assuming you like our offer, you decide that you do want to move forward, what's the next thing you'd have to figure out? And then some people will say, oh, I don't know. What do you mean? You're like, okay, well, some people, they need to grab things out of the property. They need to figure out where they're going to live. They need to figure out X, Y, or Z. So anything like that for you. Next, we have timeline. So we asked timeline earlier in the conversation, but this just reiterates it. So let's say they say, 60 days. We'd be like, hey, I had asked this earlier, but just want to confirm. You said within 60 days is a timeline that would work for you, right? Okay, perfect. Next, we have money. They have a number in their head, typically. They have a fear of leaving money on the table. So the way this asks is what ballpark were you looking to get for the property? So we asked that initially in the conversation. But what we're really asking in discomfort is, or in roadblocks, I should say, is we're kind of testing the waters, and I'll walk through how we do that. But the question is more so like, hey, I know we've bought properties in the area for, and then we do a low anchor, and that's how we get them to, let us know if it's reasonable. We're going to offer what we offer, but we want to just gauge the reaction for this sort of thing. So this is how we handle each roadblock. Hey, would anyone even be a tiny bit upset that you didn't speak with them first? If yes, right, we're going to find out who we're going to loop them into the conversation, and either we're going to loop them in or we're going to figure out what role they play in the conversation, and we want to move past that or get past that, I should say. Now, one thing I want to say for any roadblock is you're going to encounter breadcrumbs, things that they say during the conversation that will reveal discomfort, influencers, money, time. Money and timeline aren't as important. It's really the influencers and the discomfort. But they're going to say things like, oh, yeah, we were talking about who's we, right? We want to ask that and we want to understand. If they mentioned a cousin or a sister or a brother and it's an inheritance, we want to say, hey, have you talked to your family about that? What does your sister say about that? Are you guys on the same page? What was the last time you talked about selling? Those same questions for a wife or a husband, we also want to know. Discomfort, what's the next thing you'd have to figure out? Let them name it, right? Figure out what it is. And the goal with discomfort is we can handle most things. If they have items in the property, we can help them get those items out of the property. we can hire a company that will help pack things up for them. And this is where we want to add extra value as well. If they have a boat that they're like, I'm not sure what to do with, be like, hey, what if we just bought the boat with the property? Would that make things easier for you? Right. So this is where we can uncover things that will become a challenge when it comes time to sell. And they may not be able to move forward until they figure that out. But if we know that ahead of time, then we can address it. Next, you have timeline and money. We don't necessarily need to double and triple confirm timeline and money. If they tell us 30 days, it's 30 days. For money, we just want to understand, we want to put a low anchor out there. Again, this isn't exactly right. What ballpark were you looking for? This is more so at the start of the conversation. So where do roadblocks fit in the script? Realistically, roadblocks are happening throughout the entire script. They kind of happen at fact find. Uh, Now, in this case, what they're talking about in terms of roadblocks are like when we actually ask the roadblock questions, which is going to be after the ballpark price. Or actually, it's going to be after, yeah, I guess after, let me see, is that right? After ballpark? Yeah, so it's basically in the script, but it's kind of like during the fact find that we ask the question. So this isn't 100% right, but yeah, we asked during the fact find, but it doesn't matter where exactly it is, but it's in the script and we're going to ask all four. So ask all four during the process call, discomfort, influencers, time and money, double and triple confirm before, getting off the phone. If you're finding out about an influencer on the offer call, you did something wrong during the process call. So basically the drill, practice the exact script language and drill each question, or not each question, but influencers and discomfort 3 different ways. So influencers, was there anyone who might even be a tiny bit upset that you didn't speak with them first before deciding to sell the property? Oh no, it's just me, I'm the only one on title. Be like, gotcha. Okay, I know a lot of people have like a spouse, a friend that they want to talk to. There's no one like that for you, right? Awesome. They say no. They're like, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know. I had a husband once who was telling me like, hey, it's just him. And then next time I talked to him, he's like, hey, actually, I gotta loop my wife in, or I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch. So I always like to double check. So nobody like that for you then, right? And then at that point, be like, oh yeah, well my wife, I've talked to her about it though. Be like, oh, when was the last time you talked about it? And then it opens up new lines of questioning of like, what does she say? How does she feel about it? If she does she know that you're talking to someone about selling the house, right? Because if she doesn't know, what's he gonna do? He's gonna be like, hey baby, I sold the house, right? That's unrealistic for someone who lives with you. So that's why we want to ask these questions. Next, you have discomfort. Hey, let's assume you like our offer, you decide to move forward. What's the next thing you'd have to figure out? Oh, nothing. I got it all squared away. Be like, gotcha. I know some people are figuring out where they need to go or what they're going to do with their stuff. Anything like that for you? So we want to double and triple check these questions. And then timeline, pretty straightforward. If the underwriter comes back with an offer, when we're looking to close, or like, hey, I know we talked about this, is that doable? And then the money question is like a low anchor. So we asked the money question earlier in the script of what were you looking to walk away with? They say 200. And we say, hey, I know we've bought properties in the area and we've been somewhere between like 100 and 120. Does that seem reasonable to you? Right? So I wouldn't say like this. Does that sound like it's in the range of what you were thinking? Uh, so that's pretty much it. Basically, the goal is to drill these out and know that you have to hit these four every single call for it to be a good call, amongst other things. But we need to get this information up front. So when we do make the offer, we know exactly who the influencers are, what they need to figure out, what their timeline is, and what they're looking to get for the property.